Hello and welcome to the OLM Issue Triage meeting. Today is Thursday, May 27th. Let's take a look at some open OLM issues. The first is backport fix of target port in webhook config of CSV.
This looks like a downstream, right? They're asking for, hey, we want this to end up in OpenShift 4.5. I think we should just close this.
Okay. Yep. It doesn't look like it's referring to an upstream release. I mean, we're not doing branching anyway upstream. Okay. So should I say should I say open it in the downstream repository, basically, this issue?
If I was to guess, I could look at the name of this person, but I think there's a conversation already going on about this. So yeah, we can just say, like, if you I think there's already bugs all about this. I think we can just close it, but
Okay. Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Okay, cool. Okay. One down. Next. Is it possible to deploy a custom operator runs for 6? So I know there was some conversation about this last week. I don't know. I don't maybe not have the full context. The catalog source is not using the restricted SCC.
There is also a BZ about this.
Okay.
And we talked about it a bunch yesterday in Slack. I don't know that we came to a trivial answer to this question. I think that we probably need to maybe do some more thinking about the right way to handle this. I think we have some options. And again, there's also Joe opened a ABZ about this as well. So I kind of think
and the SCC is an OpenShift only API, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's reasonable to talk about, like, hey, I want support for this, this specific resource that only exists in this certain kind of Kubernetes cluster. I don't think that should be like auto close of anything. I just think in this particular case, like, there's a BZ for this, and I don't know that we want to have to track it twice.
Okay. Done. Next. Set labels of webhook services with the labels of deployment. Label the services created by OLM for webhooks. Put the same labels into services that it can create for webhooks. Okay. Or more broadly labeling everything. So this this sort of seems like it could be a feature in the context of the new bundle API, in the sense that, like, right, we want to provide like some properties, but like some more rich functionality around bundles themselves. So this, but I don't know if this is if this is what we should do with this one. Should we do it? Say that we were interested in doing this. It does. It does sort of make sense.
I guess I'm not necessarily opposed, right? Like, it's probably reasonable to do something along these lines. I guess the thing I'm thinking about is exactly what you said. Like, is this just something that's like a first class thing as part of the bundle API? Like, can you just annotate the bundle API or put a field on the spec of the bundle API that just says, push down labels, and anything you apply to the bundle API object ends up on all the related resources that it watches. Yeah, like I said, I don't think this is unreasonable. I don't think this is unreasonable in the current API landscape, unless somebody has some strong objection to it.
My only concern with this is that if you add labels to all of the things that OLM's deploying, it sounds like they're trying to manage those things, and that's kind of OLM's job, right? So it's just interesting. I would love to hear more about what they're trying to do with these labels. Sorry, and I'm just jumping on a little late.
I'd say we would like to add support for this in the new OLM APIs and potentially the existing model. But I don't think that in terms of a milestone or whatever, I don't know if we can put this into any kind of a release.
No, I don't think so either. Like I get what you're saying, Alex. I imagine that there probably are some reasons why you might want to do something like this, right? Like maybe you just want to track all the stuff that's part of your that's like part of your operator. I guess, like, to be fair, that is something that like the operator API does for you. So I don't know. I guess that it's just.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to it in general, right? Like I think like there's probably other use cases, or there are definitely use cases where that's reasonable, right? What I'm more interested in is why they want to do this, so that we can understand the ask better, because right now they're just asking us to put labels, and that may seem perfectly fine. But if what they're trying to do is something that we disagree with fundamentally with how OLM is managing these things, like let's say they're like, oh, I want to modify these resources after they're deployed. Like we may want to call out how you should use these labels and everything, right? Like if we do add them, like we should find out like when it makes sense to use these labels and when it doesn't.
Yeah, I think it's fair.
Okay, so I said it's a good idea. It makes sense to provide more context. We would like that for this potentially existing model. So yeah, so just kind of ask for a little bit more info there. I think in terms of milestones, let's put it in the backlog. I think we agreed. There's not entirely actionable assignees. Is anyone sort of interested in looking after this one? Or
I don't know if we want to necessarily
assign it.
Yeah, I kind of feel like this one is just something we should keep in mind. Maybe we want to label it as part of a related feature.
Yeah, I mean, in the context of the bundle API.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
This is good. I think this is good. Like this is an example of like, right, like an upstream thing that potentially influences the design of the new API. And so I don't know how we want to. I mean, I could just drop it in the channel as something.
It might be. Well, I think maybe what we want to do right now is just leave the labels as is. Put it in you put it in the backlog milestone already. I kind of think just leave them as is. Wait for a response, and then depending on if we still think this is reasonable, then maybe like attach it to a related feature.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if we have anything like. Okay, so I think right now this one is good. Okay, moving on here. Transient API server errors can cause CSV to show requirements not met. Then errors reaching discovery API can cause acquired native API cards marked as not present, CSV marked. All right, so this goes into, oh, so this isn't in the install plan retry. This is somewhere in the OLM CSV reconciliation. March. So Ben, this is, would you say this is still a bug? Probably still is. So it's probably a, there's a downstream. Okay. Yeah, audio isn't working. There's a downstream issue for this. So this seems like a definitely like a legitimate bug. So we want some kind of retries based on transient errors. I know we've done in the install plan retry, we would basically, we were retrying on different kinds of errors, and then we would build a list of retryable errors and fail on other errors. Maybe we could each share that list with this. This is basically the same sort of problem in general. So there's a downstream. Okay, so there's a downstream. So do we want to keep this issue then in our sort of issue backlog, or do we want to just focus on a downstream? It seems like it would affect users as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's reasonable for us to track this kind of thing upstream. I think the only time we care about tracking it specifically downstream is if it's like, you know, somebody asking us to go do it right now because they need it fixed.
Right. So I think we can track it. I don't know when what sort of the impact is on users. I think also I sorry, just to point out, I think, no, go ahead, Kevin.
No, go for it.
No, I was just gonna say, like, in terms of terminology, I think we can start referring to this repository as the repository, and then downstream is downstream, right?
Yes,
The word upstream could just go away, basically.
I agree.
This is it now. So just for everyone on the team, I don't know. So where do we want to put this one? What do you think?
It feels like this one's probably reasonable to fix before the next minor.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all right, so let's put it in 019 backlog. It's a bug. I'd say it's related to install plan retries. In the sense that there's, I mean, Ben can speak to this more, but there was this idea of building a list of retryable, or knowing which errors are retryable and requeuing on those, but not other ones, because some errors might be, you know, terminal. And then, so who do we want to take a look into this? I can look into it, or I think Ben or Hasib was, I think Hasib was doing the install plan retries. But okay, I'll just assign it to myself since I have some context here. Okay, moving on. Next one. How to add private Docker registry to OpenShift Kubernetes. private Docker registry to catalog source.
I think they're asking how to use a private registry to access the images in the catalog.
Right.
I'm assuming that seems like what it's hard for me to parse the wording, but I think that's what's being asked here.
Basically using a private registry to store the catalog image and make a catalog source available in the cluster is a common question. So we added that, right? We added that secret field to the spec, or we changed it. This is a frequent source of confusion.
So I think the reason it's confusing, and maybe the thing that we need to do is have more explicit documentation here.
Yeah.
Which is the spec secret that you can point to in a catalog source lets the OLM controller know, or the catalog operator controller know that, hey, I can pull this catalog image to stand up the registry pod. What it does not do is it does not give you arbitrary access to any of the images in the catalog source. So like your like the images for those related images, the images for the bundle images, like that stuff does not just all get for free unpacked. You need to add secrets to the service account that's actually doing the installation of the operator at the time that that's happening in order to actually get those images to run.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, so I was just going to say that there is documentation on the doc side regarding the spec.secret field.
Perfect. Let's. I'm going to track it down in this. Right. So Kevin, what you're saying, and I seem to recall this as well. It's basically like the spec.secrets is, and I think you can speak. The spec.secrets is for the index image itself, but not for the bundle refs inside the image. So okay. So I guess Nick, where is this in the?
I think making an index available in core task. You can also search this site, and I think if you just maybe just go down.
Okay, nice. Update strategy. Okay. Secrets. Oh, okay, perfect. Perfect. Okay, this is really good.
Oh, okay, so we handle bundle images now.
Yes.
with the
Yes.
secrets. Okay, so but what it doesn't do is it doesn't get the operator image,
Yes, that's correct.
right? Because that needs to be the service account in the namespace that you're installing the operator.
Right.
Wait. So it handles.
It's going to pull the catalog image and it's going to pull bundle images because that all happens in the namespace that the catalog is reconciling against. What's not going to happen is if the operator itself has an image and any of the operand images, those are going to get run whatever namespace you're actually running them in. And so those things you still need to explicitly give a secret to the service account in the namespace that the operator is being installed in, so that that service account can actually communicate with the private registry.
Okay.
It might be easier to just point to the documentation, and then if they have further questions, try to answer them.
Okay, so do you want to close this, or we'll just leave it for now and see? I don't know.
I think leave it open for now. Ask if you have any further questions, please reach out, kind of thing.
This is probably a situation where we opened ourselves up to reports like this by even having the feature, when we could have just used default Kubernetes features or just secret finding to the service account that does unpacking and catalog image running. like I'm just trying to say, because we have a spec field, people are expecting it to propagate everywhere. Which might not be the best assumption.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I don't know which default Kubernetes features you're talking about, Nick, but then I think my instinct when I was working on this was that if just for the bundle unpacking stuff, it felt weird to add the secret to the catalog source for unpacking a bundle inside the catalog source. It seemed to me something like passing the secret to the subscription made more intuitive UX sense. But I think it's worth discussing what default Kubernetes features you're talking about too.
I'm just like talking about the fact that like when you have a deployment that pulls a image in the pod spec or everywhere else, like there's this expectation that you bind the secret to the Surface account separately to be able to pull images. There's also things that like cryo configs that authenticate pull-throughs for the cluster for certain namespaces as well. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
But we can move on though.
Yeah, I think I know what you're saying. But I think this field has existed for a long time as well. It's not like this was introduced, so but it totally makes sense. Where you're going with that, Nick. Let's I think let's not get spend too much time on that. I think this is I think this is pretty much it. I think this is, I guess we do need to, do we, I guess we can just call it support and put it, I guess, we'll leave it as it is for now. I don't know. Okay. Actually, no, we have to triage it because otherwise it'll come up again. So I guess we just put it in the backlog. Okay. CSV doesn't create the cluster role if we use verbs bind escalate. Okay, this is interesting. So we don't accept certain verbs on the CSV when setting cluster roles. That seems to be the gist of it, basically. And this is a bug, according to the reporter.
Scroll up again. Hold on. Huh.
Well, this is invalid. Unsupported value bind.
Yeah, but as far as I was aware, you could, so for roles for policy rules on unless something's changed, you used to be able to put custom verbs in cluster roles themselves and roles as well. So I'm wondering if this is just something like that we either was changed in Cube and we pulled in the change automatically when we updated our Open API schema for CSVs, or if this was something that was added later. Mistake only on our side.
Right. Okay, so you're saying basically cluster roles should support any custom verbs and cluster roles basically on CSV.
They used to. I don't know if that's still the case, which is what I'm saying we need to find out.
It seems like it may. Seems like regressed at some point. Potentially. Open. Definitely worth. Basically worth investigating for. So it is. So it does seem like a bug.
I don't know. It's probably not a bug if cluster roles and roles don't support custom verbs anymore. I guess here is Cube 118 is what he's using, or they are using.
Do not support custom verbs as of like what 121 or whatever, then potentially this is not something.
I don't think we have to say all that. Like, and I don't want to like speculate. I just want to say we got to make sure that it's custom verbs are still allowed in roles, and yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I can try to find it somewhere online, but it might be in like some note somewhere, some release note somewhere.
Yep. Okay.
Okay. So it seems like there's a little bit of follow up here. Nick, do you think you want to kind of keep
Yeah,
this?
go ahead.
Okay.
Send it to me. Thank you.
No problem. Cool. All right. So let's just we'll put it on the backlog for now. Okay. All right. We're about halfway through. I suggest maybe do a few more. I think we're going at a really good pace here on the OLM issues for today. Invalidate install plan when manifests update immutable fields. Okay. Some of these fields in these resources are immutable, which means that the upgrade will fail altogether when approved.
Do we know that they're immutable at runtime in a dynamic general way?
Do we know that?
I don't know if there's a way to express that in Open API schema.
Right, and there could always be like a webhook that rejects changes to certain fields, and we'd have no way of knowing that other than programmatic. I agree this would be useful, and this is probably related to cluster IP on services in a bundle.
Yeah.
Which we didn't support before. But we had to specifically make catalog operator aware of that limitation when upgrading a service. Maybe this person's aware of something that we're not aware of, but I don't know how we could do this in a general way.
I think what would help in this situation is having disconnected graphs of install plans so that the failure of one thing to apply in one graph doesn't affect the others. But the chances of resolving an install plan at the same time as something that's not a dependency means that you'd be like applying a bunch of subscriptions in unison. Anyway, so.
There's a comment in this issue that I linked that says Cube doesn't support the read-only OpenAPI field.
Okay, it does not support it, essentially. Read only. Right.
I'd love to avoid like dropping this feature or leaving issues open forever until something in Cube is fixed.
Yeah, then we never close it, essentially.
I think by the time this eventually maybe lands in Cube, hopefully we've migrated more users to RecPack.
No. Is that accurate or I don't pay that? Okay, seems like folks are maybe working on it. Okay, so maybe we'll land at some point then. It seems like sure.
I mean, is the request really just for more information on when a failure like this occurs? Because if an install plan attempts to apply and the apply is failed, don't we already have status reporting story in that we've been working on, or stories that we've been working on, plural? So is this really a guised, I want better feedback when failures occur in install plan?
Yeah, that's a good point. I guess in this, I think we added the better reporting on the status of the subscription when the install plan fails. Does that help this case? If at least one immutable field is changed, invalidate the install plan with a human-friendly error status. I think that status where. I think maybe you're right, thinking that if they're just asking for better error handling, we have added that to the install plan. I will say that issue, that Kubernetes issue band that you linked is this seems like this looks like the prereq. To implementing this feature. Because they do schema validation. Okay, so this is what I have. I think we probably just want to put this in the backlog and I don't know if we want to sign this out to someone. Is anyone interested in
Oh,
it?
I was gonna say just close it and tell them if these don't meet your needs for status handling, please reopen.
Okay, that also sounds reasonable. We can do that. Does anyone
Maybe
object?
can we just give him the release of OLM that has the changes?
I think some of them definitely landed in 18.1. I think most of them are in the latest one.
Okay, so then just say master at this point has
Yeah.
in the thing, and we'll close it out if these don't, if it doesn't meet your, you know, needs for error handling there.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense to me. Because yeah, I agree. Otherwise, this will just float around forever. So master should have. Yeah, let's kind of, I agree, Nick, kind of just see where the reporter is going with this, like. Okay, so let's hop over to the registry. And I think as we do more and more issue triage meetings, we should just know that these issues are getting older and older, some of them. So, you know, there may just be, some of these just might be stale. So deprecate remove OPM alpha bundle commands. Okay. This is by Camilla. I don't know what do folks think about this. I think it remove alpha commands from OPM, alpha bundle commands. Can we assign it to the, no, never mind.
We are closing this issue because you can see it linked to another Boxzilla that I commented that we won't do this.
Okay.
Because she tried to remove something that clearly for testing reason, we need no plan to promote this to production whatsoever. So we do extra work to remove some alpha stuff is unnecessary. It's a waste of time. the alpha stuff, we never promoting this anyway. Because anything bundle related to SDK handle, that's why I was commenting on that. And she agreed, so that just.
Oh, she closed it.
close
Okay. Okay, right. So you, okay, so perfect. Closing. CPR was closed. CPR for resolution. Right, basically that's, yeah. Okay. Cool. Done. Next. Categories validation works on a host, not in a container. Okay. Okay, bundle categories. Right.
Like
So
an SDK, or do we have a library for this?
this is something that I recall adding. It's not, it is, I don't even really remember it, but it's, there is categories here, and you just kind of, right, you have it, you drop a JSON file somewhere, what do you, and then you point OPM to it. And when it runs bundle validate, it, yeah, with this operator hub validator, I look at this custom category JSON file.
It looks like there's a seg fault in operator SDK further down in the issue.
Oh, okay, yeah, let me, I have too much going on here. Where is that? This is, okay. Oh, so right, this is from operator SDK. Okay, so if it's from operator SDK, then why is it against registry? Oh, okay, same output using OPM. Okay. Okay, huh, seems like B none.
Oh, it's broken in both SDK and OPM.
Okay. It seems like it's a Podman related, something to do with Podman. Okay, how about, this is also a little bit stale at this point, but it does seem like a real issue. Because this was, I know this was at some point important. This is basically for the operator hub pipeline, folks. This is who this reporter is, I think. So I definitely want to address this. I mean, since I added this categories field, I can try to follow up on this. I guess, what do we want to do? We want to say, could you confirm the issue persists on the latest versions, yeah, or the SDK, and with an alternate container tool such as Docker? If so, we definitely want to address the side. Is that fair? Does anyone else have anything else?
How much? It says, hold on, scroll down. It says none working on against clear issue still persists accessing local kind registry from a container.
Right. So, oh, okay, that's a very good point. Yeah, this is works on host and not in a container. So They're trying to do Docker and Docker basically, and it's failing.
Unpacking shouldn't require. Unpacking shouldn't require.
Shouldn't require a Docker
This is-
socket. Yeah, socket. Yeah, yeah.
Kind of ambiguous to me.
So right, that's a good find.
We should just try to verify whether we can execute it in a container with none. I don't know about Podman, but none, as long as that works.
So this was runs bundle validate. So right, it unpacks it and then it does the static analysis and then it basically
What
says.
Did they give us the container image that they're using too in this test?
Yeah, it looks like this one.
No, that they're running OPM from.
Oh, which OPM they're using?
They're using OPM, but they're saying they're trying to run it from inside a container. There you go.
This one.
Okay, yeah, we should just verify that and see what's up. It's the next step here.
Storage driver BFS. I wonder what that is. Privileged.
Oh yeah, this is also like using like mounting a file system.
Yeah. Seems oh, okay, this, do they have more here than in? This looks identical to the built-in one, from what I can tell. Oh, there's one here that's new. This one is new. No, there's a few more. Okay, yeah, got it. All right, so let's also see. I think we should also try to replicate on our end. Just try to replicate. It seems like it could be rich. Seems like okay. Where's that? There could be a real issue, but there are a lot of factors. So I wonder if this whole workflow just worked before they started using the custom categories, and now that there's an additional file that needs to be fed to OPM or whatever, like, and it doesn't get into the build context or something. I'm not sure. But yeah, this looks like it looks like it's an issue. I don't know how important it is.
I think that like all we really need to do as a next step here is just say that we want to attempt to reproduce and figure out more here instead of maybe trying to fully grok this in this call, because this seems like there could be multiple conflating things or conflicting things going on. It's a very custom configuration. Yeah, I mean, like, this is just for, you don't have to write that down. I'm just saying that, like, yeah.
Well, but yeah, no, you're right. And yeah, no, you're right. And actually, I probably spent a little bit more time on this than I should have. Okay. All right, so I'll just put myself on it and can put it in the backlog for now and see. I don't know what. Okay. Next. Can run OPM CLI inside a container running on OpenShift. So this is similar, or it's somewhat related.
Well, add is building. So what are they trying to use? Are they trying to use Podman?
Yeah, pull tool.
That's the pull tool, but like if the build tool defaults to Podman as well, can Podman build in a container? Because if it can't, then it won't work.
Yeah, the OPM build Podman.
Unable to write pod event. Is this the same error from the previous one?
This one is no. This is error from the last issue. Yeah, this.
Yeah, so this is how he's saying it's happening on CP. What is the OPM command he's running? Export here. Yeah, okay, so I understand what's going on here, and probably the last one too. So like running the way we do extraction for Podman and Docker is that we create the container and then we use CP from the running container. And what that does is it actually has to run the container and mount the file system, which means that if it's using a regular installation of Docker or Podman, it's going to fail because it's going to try to access the mount namespace from an unprivileged container.
Okay.
So that makes sense.
So right. So, but it would work if we. So this hits on the bug, right, that we've been looking at recently. So this would work in the context. Would this work in the context of another the container D extraction method potentially, or is it?
This would probably work for container D.
Right. Because essentially this goes back to the bug that I'm looking at now, where I think some of the problems we have is that it's simply shelling out to these container tools when extracting, as you said, building a container instead of taking like the layers out. Can hit edge case. This is just basically cases in that, like if you do it locally, it'll work. If you do it in a container, it won't work. So I had the idea of just using the container D extraction implementation to extract the file system out. If that were the case, then this would not be an issue, and some of the other issues would go away as well. It would be a change in behavior of OPM though. So this is something I was talking about with, because yeah, otherwise we kind of need to fix things in different ways and across the different implementations. Okay, so we're almost out of time here. I'm just gonna say that it looks like the PM builds the container. So I think this is related to, somewhat related to this fix. If we get this in, then this might fix this. Okay. This is original. Okay. I think we do want to pull this in, and I know that we're out of time, so I think let's see. Does anyone object to pulling it into the next release of? All right, we'll go ahead and do that. I think it should also go to either me or Nick. I guess I would just put it to myself for now. All right. Cool. So with that, thanks everyone for joining, and I guess we have stand-ups now or whatever anyway. So yeah, see everyone next week.